Thanks, Ocean Cruising Club, for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. And for myself, it's great to be back in South Africa and Cape Town. I was here. This is my second visit, and the first one was only 42 years ago in the 1981 Whitbread race. And I do have to congratulate you. Cape Town is beautiful. It was beautiful then, but it's even more beautiful, prosperous now. And so, congratulations for the progress and also for the World Cup. But to the incident regarding why I'm here, I was outside Cape Town last 1 year ago without the possibility to come to port, where I was introduced by Don here outside of the harbor, and continued southward, and we, as Kirsten told, had a nice meeting coming into Cape Town. She actually gave me already the second lesson of sailing south, coming into port in Cape Town. In 1981, Sir Peter Blake gave us a humiliating lesson when we were coming with Scotland of Finland into port, and Peter Blake's Saramco had lost her mast a number of weeks before, and we were stuck in a high pressure and could see the Table Mountain for 2 days, and Peter Blake's Saramco with the jury rig sailed around us from the south in good wind and beat us to the port, which was really super embarrassing. And last year, Kirsten did it again to me, passing me from the south coming into the port, and I heard her talking to a ship on VHF, and I saw the ship, so then I realized she must be in front of me. I took the binoculars and saw her coming into the port in front of me. That was the wind died on our way in, and it became dark, and she was out of the harbor already by the time I got in, and then I did a nasty thing. Don allowed us to use 25 liters of diesel during the whole circumnavigation, and as it was dead calm when I was getting out of Cape Town harbor, and I had got a weather forecast which said that it would be light westerly winds, but turning in 8 hours to south or southwest. I decided that I have to motor down and get to the Cape of Good Hope before the wind goes back to the southwest, and Kirsten, as a proper sailor, just had sailed out from here to southwest, and I didn't actually see which direction she took. I didn't know where she was, but without knowing, by motoring, I passed her, which I'm ashamed of. And then one week later, when on 18th of November, this wind was kept being on the nose from southeast. I didn't get to the westerlies, and I was beating against the wind in nice light weather, full main and big Genoa up, sleeping 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up to a loud crash from the stern of the boat, and I had already rigged the safety net on top of my my bunk, and I'm a stiff old guy, so it took me at least 30 seconds to crawl out of my bunk. It was open at the foot end, and once I got my feet on the floorboards, water level was already almost up to my knees, and looked back to the main companionway, and the water was just pouring in. It was a torrent of water coming in. And, for a few seconds I thought that it's not possible that I had been preparing the boat for 2 consecutive Golden Globe races, and I had 110% trust in the boat, that she was strong as a tank and super safe, and everything had been done with safety in mind. But after a couple of seconds I realized that this is it, that the water is coming in so quickly that there's nothing to be done. Went to the companionway, put my survival suit into the cockpit and the communication radio box in there, and then I started opening the grab bag straps, but by that time the water level was already so high, and they were below the water, and I couldn't get the straps open. But then I had in my mind that by that time I had already got a report that I was leading Kirsten by roughly 100 miles, and Abilastomi was not very much further back either. So I understood that if I just get into the raft and get the satellite device with me, then one of them will be able to come to my rescue, and that's what I did. Went up on deck and took the life raft into the water, and I was afraid that the boat would sink from under me, and so I cut the painter with a knife and tied a slip knot to the sanction pole, and had one last look into the boat, because I knew that my e-bird was there, and I had all my gear, sextants and stuff in there. I thought that maybe I could save something, but at that time the water level was only maybe 15-20 centimeters below the deck in the saloon. But the boat had 3 watertight bulkheads in the stern and 3 in the bow, so those were keeping the boat still floating at that moment, but there was nothing in there. And then when I turned around, there was another moment of embarrassment, because my slip knot had opened and the rat was drifting away about your distance, and it was split second decision to make a tiger leap towards the raft, and I just got hold of it and got into the raft, and I was ashamed, because I have been always preaching that life raft is not a life raft, it's a death raft. There are a number of occasions when people have gone to a life raft and have died in the raft, and then later on the boats have been found still floating, and so the principle is that you don't go down to a life raft, but you climb up to a life raft from a boat which is 100% surely sinking. So I put up my paddle together, and with all force I had, I tried to paddle back to the boat, but there was enough wind to push me away from the boat, and I just couldn't make it back to the boat anymore. So the only thing left to do was just to follow my dear friend sinking, and within about 20 minutes, less than half an hour from the moment when I woke up, the stern went below the surface, and gradually the boat sank. And the life raft was only 1.8 meters, I guess, per square, so it was pretty tippy, but still as old Marine officer, so I stood up there and made a salute standing there in the wobbling raft below the surface, and I can tell you that I felt pretty lonely after the Virgin on the top of the mast had disappeared, with 360 degrees of empty Indian Ocean around me. Power went on, and took his number and pressed the button again, only to realize that, well, then it said that no connection. And then I realized that I had leaned against the side of the raft, apparently with the phone in my hand, and broken the antenna. And I'm an engineer by profession, and I was looking at the antenna, and I think that could have pulled it. Pretty soon realized that I didn't have any soldering devices with me, but luckily there was another, even smaller satellite texting device, a yellow brick, which has a screen of half the size of a matchbox, and it has a computer keyboard, letters and arrow keys, so that you can send messages with it. But the problem was that my reading glasses were magnitude 4.5, and I had 20 pairs of them on board, but none in the raft. So I was keeping the YB3 this distance, and water running out of my eyes, and trying to send text messages to Don, which I finally was able to do. And maybe 2 out of 3 letters I hit right, but he was able to interpret them. And by that time my tracker had ceased to function, and they already knew that something serious had happened, and also my friends and relatives in Finland had already got the news, but the boss of my brother, who actually is here in Cape Town because he lives half a year, all the winters here, he told my brother that don't worry, he is happy that he's got even the brandy on the life raft, that he must be shit-faced if you read his messages. And within half an hour, I had already the first giant petrels landed next to the raft, and making hell of a noise, and first one, and then 2 more, and then 5 more, and in a while there were 20 or 30 of them, and one was clearly the boss, keeping all the others away, and then he started swimming towards me, and I reached my hand out on my index finger, and that petrel with his long beak took hold of my index finger, and I introduced myself that I'm Lehtinen, but I won't stay here long, but they're going to get me tomorrow at the latest, which then turned to be true. I got reassuring message from Don pretty soon that he has been in contact with MRCC Cape Town, and in cooperation with them, the bulk carrier Daria Gayatri, which picture you saw, was directed towards me, and they would be at my location early next morning. And also Ambulance Tommy and Kirsten had been directed towards me. Then I again texted with my running eyes to Dawn that I would prefer Kirsten to save me. And luckily, so it happened that she got more wind, and she hand steered with all the sails up, and so she was at the location 1 hour before Daria Gayatri, which, in addition to me wanting to be saved by her, Kirsten was you certainly understand that she was the darling of the GGR fleet right from the beginning, and everyone was rooting for her, and she's a fantastic person. But in addition to that, if I would have had to climb the ship straight from the raft, or if the ship would have needed to maneuver close to the raft, it would have been really super dangerous situation. But now Kirsten was giving praise to the skipper of Darya and Gayatri, but Kirsten is the one who showed the excellent seamanship maneuvering Minnehaha safely to the loo of Darya and Gayatri, so that they could throw the line and pull me on the side of the boat and while we were getting pulled over and then climbing up I have done quite a few survival at sea courses and climbed the ladders, but when it was a real situation, the ladder was going down 2 meters up and down, so it was a question of grabbing hold at exactly the right moment when the ladder would be going up. And at the training center, I think it's 4 or 5 meters, but that was 10 meters. And after the big rum, and I never took my survival suit off, and it was pretty. As I said, I'm an old guy, so it was pretty complicated to take a leak in the in the raft, and it had been cold in the night. And I enjoyed being on the raft. I'm a fanatic friend of the ocean life and albatross and all the birds and everything. And there was a turtle, and I could see the little insects earlier the first day when the wind was light. And once I got on board Minnehaha, we were discussing over the rum that with Kirsten that maybe we'll earn our first million by starting a company taking tourists out to the Indian Ocean to stay overnight in a life and experience the sea life.
You see what I mean? This wasn't a man upset or in a state of depression. He was full of business ideas and jokes.
But after climbing up to the deck of Darya and Gayatri and being warmly welcomed by the Indian crew, which was in itself it was a fantastic experience. I spent 2.5 weeks on the ship. I walked 100 kilometers around the deck of the ship on the way to Jakarta. But being there and waving goodbye to Kirsten there, that was my emotional moment, and kind of forgetting the dream. But now at this moment I would like everybody who works with the MRCC Cape Town, please stand up. Is there any representatives from the MRCC? Please stand up. And Kirsten here. So all of you, I do owe my life to you. Very, very humble thank you.
Thank you very much, Tapio.